We will now begin our presentation.
When we first started thinking about the job we were supposed to do, we naturally went to TED.com to find the right topic for us.
That's exactly when our troubles just started. Way too many options.
And not only that, besides having to choose the one that the six of us thought it was the most interesting, we had to focus on one that would benefit our community.
So, the issue at the moment was to reach a consensus.
Oh no! Not only that, we were supposed to reflect on why and how the concepts presented would benefit our community.
The thing is that every time we believed we had picked the right topic, a concept that would not only benefit our community, but everyone else's community, also came to our minds.
Not being able to leave that feeling aside, we decided that the best thing to do was to present a topic that inspired us and would benefit the Brazilian community, but others as well.
We finally made our decision.
Our choice was Miss Pika Kuru, a young scientist who fights for everyone's right to have access to clean water.
That will definitely benefit the Brazilian communities most in need of fresh water. Those live in the northeast of Brazil, but also those living under the same difficult conditions all around the world.
Every summer, Miss Depica Group and her family would travel back to their home country, the culturally diverse India.
Now, India is a country well known for its sizzling heat. So, it's the northeast of Brazil.
Let's say that one of the relief from that heat is to drink plenty of water.
While in India, Deepika's parents always reminded her to only drink boiled water or bottled water.
Unlike some other countries in the world, where you may just turn on a tap and easily get clean, drinkable water, in some parts of India, the water might be contaminated.
It may not be the case in most parts of Brazil, but it is certainly true in some places, such as the most remote areas of the northeast of the country.
Naturally, everyone would like to be sure that the water they drink is safe.
Sadly, not everyone is lucky enough to enjoy clean water. Miss Kerr witnessed people standing in long lines under the hot sun, filling buckets with water from a tap in the busy streets of India.
Not so different from those living in the northeast of Brazil.
They also have to stand in lines in the blazing sun next to a water truck provided by the city hall to fill in their buckets.
Watching those people forced to drink water that feels too dirty even for the touch should change our perspective of the world.
It is an unacceptable social injustice, and it compels Deepika to be willing to find a solution to the world's clean water problem.
She wanted to know why some lack water, a substance that is essential for life.
And this is the moment we must realize we are facing a global water crisis.
Talking about a water crisis may seem surprising, as 75% of our planet is covered in water.
However, only 2.5% of that is fresh water, and less than 1% of Earth's fresh water supply is available for intake.
With rising population, industrial development, and economic growth, the demand for clean water is logically increasing.
Thus, freshwater resources are quickly shrinking.
According to the World Health Organization, 660 million people in our world lack access to a clean water source.
Upon returning home from India while in 8th grade, Miss Kerr thought about combining her passion for solving the global water crisis with her interest in science. That's when she chose to first turn her garage into a laboratory and then her kitchen into a laboratory, something her parents didn't approve of.
However, what matters is that she totally got into the idea. She also started reading a lot of journal papers on water-related research.
She learned then that something called solar disinfection, SODIS, is used to purify water.
In sodas, clear plastic bottles are filled with contaminated water and then exposed to the sun for 6 to 8 hours.
The UV radiation from the sun destroys the DNA of the harmful pathogens found in the water and decontaminates the water.
However, while SODIS is really easy to use and energy efficient as it only uses solar energy, it is really slow. The whole process can take up to 2 days, especially when it's cloudy.
So, in order to make the SODIS process faster, a new method called photocatalysis started being used.
But what exactly is photocatalysis?
If we break the word into photo, meaning from the sun, and into catalysis, which means something speeding up a reaction, it is easier to understand what it is.
It
It is, in other words, speeding up the solar disinfection process.
When sunlight hits a photocatalyst nanoparticle TiO2 or titanium dioxide, it creates some reactive oxygen species.
These reactive oxygen species, followed by DNA damage, are able to remove bacteria and a whole lot of impurities from drinking water.
However, there are disadvantages to the way photocatalytic solvents is being used at present. Clear plastic bottles are being coated on the inside with the TiO2 photocatalytic.
What happens is that the titanium dioxide is commonly used in sunscreens to block the UV radiation.
So, when it is coated on the inside of the bottle, it is actually blocking some of the UV radiation and diminishing the efficiency of the process.
Besides, the coating is not tightly combined to the plastic bottle, which means it washes off.
People end up drinking the catalyst, which is safe and inactive. But the whole process is really inefficient if people keep drinking the catalyst.
Especially because it will have to be replaced even after a few uses.
Deepika's goal is to overcome the disadvantages of these two water treatment methods.
Her aim is to create a safe, sustainable, cost-effective, and eco-friendly method of purifying water.
What started off as an 8th grade science project is now Miss Corrupt, photocatalytic compound for water purification.
Her target is to combine titanium dioxide with cement. The cement-like compound can be formed into quite a few different shapes.
This will result in an extremely adaptable range of methods to make use of the compound.
A rod could be created to be easily placed inside water bottles for individual use, for instance.
Or a porous filter could be designed to filter water for whole families.
A code inside an existing water tank could be used to purify large amounts of water for communities over a longer period of time.
It's clear that Deepika's goal is in her quest to solve the global water crisis. For starters, she didn't have a sophisticated laboratory.
She was only 14 years old when she started, but her age was not something that would discourage in following her dreams.
She was determined to engage in serious scientific research and seek a solution to the global water crisis.
Water is not just a universal solvent. Water is a universal right.
For that reason, Ms. Kurup continues to work on her science fair project as of 2012.
Her aspiration is to bring her school project from a laboratory to the real world. Deepika has eventually founded Catalyst for World Water, a social enterprise aimed at catalyzing,
Accelerating a reaction
to find solutions to the global water crisis.
Alone, a single drop of water can't do much. But when many drops come together, they can sustain life on Earth.
Just as water drops come together to form oceans, we all must come together when facing this global issue.
Ms. Kurup's research and commitment to find a solution to an incredibly serious global crisis are remarkable.
It is possibly the key to a concern that many of us have.
Finding a way to provide fresh, clean water in a sustainable and inexpensive way is unquestionably a dream come true to so many.
Not only Deepika Kurup's dream, but also the dream of countless living creatures in need of most basic need of all.
The way we see her project becoming a reality will most certainly bring some comfort to several needy communities in the northeast of Brazil, who lack what they need the most.
Water is not just a universal solvent. Water is a universal